To Basecamp. I hear some oohing and eyeing, so some of you might know who she is or might have seen her before. And you guys are also getting an extra special treat today because you guys are the only ones that are going to get to see her today because she actually lives behind the scenes where only the keepers see her. So this is Phoenix. You guys want to tell me what she is? What is she?
Cute.
She a capybara?
Kind of a warthog. I'll take that. That's kind of, we haven't had that one yet. Okay, good guess. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Badger. Okay, yeah.
I think
A capybara?
I think is she a marsupial?
I think she's some kind of marsupial. I'll give you a hint. She poops in squares.
Oh my gosh.
Have you guys ever heard animals that do that before? No, gross. Okay. Well, I'll give you a hint. Well, I'll just tell you what she is. She's a wombat. So, yeah, you're like, oh, that's what she is.
What did I say?
So she is a wombat. We do, however, get a lot of those other guesses. Like the badger I've heard before. I've heard the capybara before. Because she kind of does look like a little rodent, right? Like she has the big teeth. She kind of has the body shape. But she's a wombat, and she's actually a marsupial. So think of other animals from Australia. That's where Phoenix is from. So think of animals that have pouches, like kangaroos or koalas. That's the same family group that she's in. So she has a pouch on her belly, but unlike some of the other animals in her area that have pouches, her pouch faces backwards towards her legs. That is because what she likes to do is dig. Do you guys see all of those really long front claws that she has? Yeah. Yeah, she loves to dig. Digging, sleeping, and eating are the three things that wombats love to do most. And scratching, I lied, there's 4 things. So these guys dig burrows, they dig really long tunnels, and if they were digging those tunnels and their pouch was facing up towards their face, that dirt would get into her pouch. That wouldn't be comfortable, right? No, she wouldn't want that. That wouldn't be comfortable for her or for baby. So her pouch actually faces the opposite way. It faces backwards. And she is the animal that poops in squares that we talked about earlier. So that's kind of another, I know, it's gross. But that's really unique because no other animals do that except for wombats. Now there's a couple theories as to why, so it does have to do with how their intestinal tract is shaped and how it processes food. Also, if you think of wanting to mark your territory, so wombats are very territorial. They're usually solitary animals, and in order to mark their territory, they go to the bathroom wherever it's their territory, and that lets other wombats and other animals know that that is their area. And so if it's in a shape of a square rather than circular, it can't roll away. Pretty smart evolution, right? Yeah, pretty smart. So another really cool thing about wombats while we're sitting here, I'm going to give you a little sound.
See the dust flying?
Okay, so you guys hear that noise? Yeah. So they have a bony plate. That's what was making that noise on their hind end. So you see how the back end of her right there is really flat? So it's really flat like that because there's a bony plate. Now that helps her stay safe because whenever she digs those burrows, she goes in head first. So if a predator ever comes by, she's going to go in head first, and that rear end is going to be the one sticking out. And that has a bony plate that predators have a harder time digging through. And also, her rear end is used to smash her enemies, believe it or not. So she can bump them up against the sides of her den in a way to defend herself. So that's pretty cool too. Now Phoenix, I'll tell you the little story about how we got Phoenix. So we have animals in Basecamp and in the zoo that are from all over the world. Some of those animals were born here, some of them were born at other facilities, and then there are some animals like Phoenix who actually came from the area that they're native to. So wombats are native to Australia. Phoenix herself actually came from Australia. So what happened was, so wombats are, we'll start with the little comment first. Wombats are pretty common in the wild, so just think of North America here. We see a lot of opossums, we see a lot of raccoons, a lot of deer, and unfortunately, sometimes those animals, because they're so strong in number, they get hit by cars. That's the same kind of situation with wombats in Australia. They're very, very common. But when you have a lot of animals and a lot of people in the same place, things like that can happen. So her mom had gotten hit by a car, but a Good Samaritan knew that wombats were marsupials. So they knew to check the mom's pouch. And then inside that pouch, they found Phoenix. Now at that time, Phoenix was too small to go back into the wild and survive on her own. So she was hand-reared, and longer story short, she had found her way into zoological facilities and eventually to San Diego Zoo, where she is an ambassador. Now, not a lot of other places have wombats as ambassadors, just because they can take a lot of time in training. They're a very time-consuming animal to manage. It's also very difficult in terms of paperwork and legality to get animals in and out of Australia. If you think about a place that's a secluded island, you have to be careful what goes in and out, right, of that area to protect all of the native wildlife that's there. But we were able to get the right permits and the right habitat set up for Phoenix, and she is doing really great as an ambassador. She is wearing a harness and a leash. What we are also doing in Basecamp is we are trying to work a lot of our animals off of those leashes and let them do their own animal thing and show you those natural behaviors. Phoenix is still in that learning process. Sometimes she decides that she would rather go over into that planter and dig a burrow rather than stay up here on the presentation area. So we have a little harness and a leash just to help her make good decisions. So, but as you'll see, Jamie's not pulling on the leash or telling her where to go. So wombats are about, well, Phoenix anyway, is a little over 60 pounds. Can you believe she's that big? She is solid. So even if we wanted to force her to go somewhere, we couldn't. She's that big. And she's very powerful. So what this leash does is it just kind of sends her information, and it just kind of helps Jamie guide her where we would like her to go. And Phoenix, of course, she's an herbivore. You'll see her walking around getting some of her favorite treats. So she likes to eat lettuce, and she loves to eat hay. I know to us that sounds really, really boring, but she could eat lettuce and hay every single day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it would be her favorite thing. That doesn't sound good to you guys? No? Okay, well, Phoenix really loves it. Those are her favorite things. She also gets a special herbivore pellet. Now, even though she is herbivorous in diet, a lot of people, I sometimes jokingly call her our honorary rodent because she has those really, really big rodent teeth up front. That's also probably why a lot of people guess capybara when they see her. But even though she has those really big teeth up front, she is not a rodent. She's like, see, I'll show you if I'm not a rodent. Those are unapproved treats for Phoenix. Those are just for guests to look at, not for Phoenixes to eat. Yeah, tell her that. So these guys are actually mostly nocturnal. So in Phoenix's habitat, she has about 6 feet deep of dirt that she can dig in, and she builds several burrows. Every once in a while, we will collapse them when she's not in them, either for enriched experiences, or if we just are not sure the integrity of that tunnel is up to par. And she will dig an entire new tunnel system overnight before we even come in the next morning. So they can actually move hundreds of pounds of dirt overnight, just in one night. Now, wombats are a good example of an animal that looks really, really cute, that a lot of people want to go up to and pet if they see one out in the wild, but I would not recommend doing that if you are ever in Australia. Because these guys, like I said earlier, they can be very territorial. And sometimes when animals are territorial, they can be very aggressive if you are to enter into their territory. We also want to practice responsible ecotourism. I'll tell you a little story why. One of our coworkers actually had some friends that lived in Australia, and they had a wombat living around their house. And they thought, oh, well, this is cute. We like wombats. We'll leave some food out for it. And so they made that a habit. The wombat got used to them leaving food out for it. And then they went on vacation. So no more food outside, right? So being a wombat, this wombat thought, well, I can solve this problem myself. The wombat dug a tunnel underground and up underneath their floorboards and into their house and destroyed their house. So just a fun example specifically to wombats why you don't want to feed the native wildlife. They can also just be a little bit more. So Phoenix is a special case because she was hand reared and because she worked with people from a very young age, but not all wombats are like this. And we do exercise a lot of caution when we work with her. She's very seasonal. During the hot part of the summer, she would rather sleep in her burrow, and that's totally fine. But that's not the time when we're training and we want to try to push to the next progressions. During the cooler months is when she's a little bit more active and she's above her burrow more often. So those are usually the times that we capitalize on to do more training with her. So, but throughout the year, we are always paying attention to her behavior, and it is always her choice whether or not she wants to come out and participate in a program. There are several times when she has said, no, thank you, I do not want to participate today. I would rather stay sleeping in my burrow and be a wombat, and that's perfectly okay with us. Okay, so does anybody have any questions before Phoenix has to go back to her habitat? I see hands already. Okay, what is your question?
Sometimes they can dig holes so they can get out.
They do dig holes so they can get out, yeah. So usually when there's an entrance to the burrow, if that entrance doesn't also serve as an exit, there's usually several other entrances. And also a good story relating to that is some of these wombat burrows have helped other animals take refuge from wildlife fires. The wombats were not purposely digging tunnels or burrows for other animals, but abandoned tunnels and abandoned burrows were able to provide refuge for other animals in Australia when they had those really severe wildfires a couple years ago. So that was just a kind of a cool story too. Any other questions up here?
Is
Yep.
she part of an SSP by chance?
She's currently not part of our breeding program. That can always change. So he asked if she was part of our SSP, and that was a good, she's following me because I'm also one of her trainers. So the SSP is the Species Survival Plan, and we have a lot of animals that even though they do ambassador work, they are also participating in that program because it is a conservation program to help that species. Phoenix right now is not part of that program. Wombats, she's a common wombat or a naked-nosed wombat. They are pretty plentiful out in their wild habitats, and we do not currently need to breed them here. However, that could always change. Okay, it looks like we're getting ready to say goodbye to Phoenix, but I can still answer some more questions. What's your question? You know, she might. I cannot guarantee it. It's kind of up to her. We'll ask her tomorrow and we'll see if she wants to come out. Mm-hmm.
And that's Phoenix.
Oh, you are?
Okay.
Okay, come on.
Is that 1 o'clock base
Great
camp?
information.